was the premise for Incarnation originally described to you?
Well, it's pretty on point with what is out there, that
Mhm.
basically, it's about a young couple that moves to Los Angeles, and like everyone moving to LA, people are chasing a dream, right? So obviously my character's dream is a little bit different. Mine's more in line with having a family. And then Brad wants to open a business, Brad, which is Tay Diggs. So it's basically, they're trying to accomplish their dream. They're up to their neck in debt, and they move into this home that has a demonic presence that kind of like pushes them into summoning this demon, which
Yes.
basically allures them with images of what they want and everything, and it basically, the greed gets the best of them and they end up paying the price. So it's hard. Like, we all want our dreams to happen, right? So we're kind of willing to do anything to make our dreams happen, and it's a slippery slope, greed,
Yeah.
so basically that's the premise, that this demonic presence kind of just pulls them in, and it pulls them into greed, and then they end up paying the ultimate price.
Was there something then about Jess or the premise for this that really drew you to want to be a part of the movie?
Yeah, I was on set filming another film, and Isaac Walsh, the director, came to set, and I met him, and then it kind of came up that, and it just happened to be that her name is Jess and my name is Jessica. And, we sat down and talked about the project, and, about an hour into talking, Isaac looks at me and he goes, "You are my Jess. I am convinced 100%." So he's like, "But you have to read the script first. Let me know what you think." So I was in Palm Springs filming. I go out to the pool at night and I pull up this script and I start reading it, and I'm by myself because this is pandemic,
I
you
was going to
know.
say maybe at night by yourself isn't a great place to be reading an Incarnation script.
Ew. And there was like, the trees were like, there was like wind in the trees, and I was like terrified. I actually had to stop reading, go in my room, and then finish it there because I started like hearing noises, and I'm
Turn
like,
on the
oh.
light, see if there's other people.
Right. But I've always wanted to shoot a horror. Always, always, always. So it was just kind of serendipitous in a way. And I like, Isaac was so awesome. And so I was just like, that's what got me to want to do it. I loved the script. So, and the director and the producer, who I'd worked with many times, is awesome as well.
And it doesn't hurt that your hubby is Tay Diggs.
Oh, how lucky am I? Oh my gosh. Yeah, he boarded a little bit after me, and I was like so excited because not only is he an amazing actor, he's also like super easygoing and so nice, and he's funny, and he's like, whatever you need. So he's like super supportive, like, hey, do you need me to be, more like this? Do you want me to try that? Like, he is a total team player. So it was awesome working with him.
I think it comes to Jess, though, as a little bit of a surprise that Brad is sort of willing to go to all of these lengths to get all of their dreams to come true. Is that what you noticed in the script, too?
Well, is it Brad though? Now remember, a demonic presence is kind of compelling Brad to do these things, right? So the Mammon is essentially pulling him into greed and bringing out this darkness in Tay, in Brad, right? So like, he's not necessarily that person. It's like the scene where I put the coins in my hand because Jess's whole want is to have a baby,
Right.
right? That is Jess's dream. And you hear her asking her husband time and time again, like, what about this being a nursery? You know what I mean? And so she has that moment where she puts the coins in her hand, and the demon basically puts that image into her mind of her reaching into the baby's bed, right? And being a mother. So she starts to go in that same direction, because once you're, it's like he's got his hooks in you, Mammon. So they're not necessarily acting on who they are as people.
Personal want.
Yes, it is demonic presence. Like, we can't, that's a power way above, us. So that's why you see that darkness from him.
Were you given any tips or sort of vocal advice for the screaming and the crying aspect to the movie?
Oh man, yeah, that's the thing about filming a horror as a female, a lot of the more emotional stuff in terms of crying and all of that comes from our characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely an emotionally exhausting experience. But one thing that I definitely felt was the strongest choice is to always just put yourself in that position as much as possible, as if that was you. And the very end of the film, there's a very emotional scene.
Yes.
And it was a very interesting time on set because not only Isaac, the director, was amazing. He came in, as we were prepping it, and I'm already crying basically. And he holds my hand and he says, "Do you feel safe?" Right? Which was like just so amazing. And then we had this really emotional scene, and I couldn't stop bawling after filming. And people actually had to leave also, like behind camera. And the actors who were coming in as the nurses and everything was like, "Oh my God, that was so hard." But if you just put yourself in the shoes of the character, and if you had woken up, I don't know, I don't want to spoil the film, to that situation, the gravity of that, right? So yeah, it was, I just, that's how my preparation was just trying my best to just be in that as much as possible. And that is where you can get there with those emotions, you know.
There's some incredibly intense scenes and obviously very dramatic, edge of your seat moments. Was there one that maybe was the toughest for you to film emotionally, or maybe one that was sort of challenging the most to you?
I would say, one of the, I think it's one of the best scenes, and I think one of the pivotal moments in the script is the fight between Jess and Brad. And that scene was hard to film. We did it in a lot of different ways in terms of like where you're coming from, whether it's she's a victim or whether it is she's, right back at him, kind of like ready to brawl as well. And I think for both Tay and I, that was a emotionally, because Tay really brings it in that scene too, exhausting scene. And then we were doing the DP was doing a onesie, oneer, whatever they're called, so it's the flowy.
The one shot.
So he didn't, obviously we're pretty much on script, but we were improving a little bit too. So I think at times like whoa. So I think it was challenging for everybody that moment. So, but it turned out, I think, one of the best scenes in the entire film. So, and it's a very important because it kind of flips the whole movie on its side, go in a different direction.
With such an intensity and a thrill to filming this, not just when you're watching it, how did you shake off a long day of filming?
I mean, I love being on set, and I wish I was on set every day. So I try to like make sure that I enjoy those moments, even if it's emotionally exhausting and you're getting home and you're just prepping for the next day, and you know what I mean. And because we filmed earlier in the pandemic, it's a very isolating thing, especially at that time, because if anyone tested positive, it just throws the whole production for a loop. So it could be really bad. So it was, for me, it was just hardcore focus because I was just like, I can't see anybody, I have to just focus on this film, but also enjoy this. Like, don't let it just slip away and not have enjoyed being in a film, like starring in a film. It's something special. So I would probably just come home, eat, prep, go to bed. So like, nothing too crazy.
Isaac does such a great job directing this, the scenes, the close-ups, things like that. What did you enjoy most about working with him?
Well, I mean, he's a first-time director, which is, you don't feel that way. It's so interesting because he's just a pro. I mean, Isaac is like an artist. He's through and through a film buff. He loves the art side of it, and he also is a actor's director. So he's constantly checking in with you. He's constantly, and he has these, and so he was all masked up, obviously, the whole time, right? But he has these huge, big, expressive eyes. And he's this really tall, long guy, and I'm like little. So but he just would like look at you, and he would come over, and we would just have those moments of like, okay, you know what I mean? And I could tell he's like, are you okay? Da, 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 you know what I mean? Like, so it was awesome working with him, honestly.
What do you think it is about Incarnation that's going to make it such a fast fan favorite, maybe horror thriller is how I would describe it?
And yes, it definitely is a horror thriller. I would describe it like that as well. I mean, I really hope that it becomes a fan favorite. I love the film. We put our like hearts and souls into making this, and I think it's unique. It's definitely got a different take on everything. It's filmed in a very unique way, and I just feel like Tay just kills it. And we also can't forget about Michael Madsen. I love his character, and he's super creepy.
Peter.
And man, is he
Oh,
great.
Peter.
What I know, what a just icon. Like, he's an icon, and bless his heart. I mean, he's really going through something horrible right now, but yeah, I'm excited to see what people think. I hope they get scared. I hope they're intrigued. I hope they enjoy the ride. So, yeah.
What else have you been busy working on then lately?
Well, so gosh, I filmed a lot during the pandemic. Prior to Incarnation, I filmed a movie called Take Back. We were the second production in the state to actually get the green lit to go. So that's Mickey Rourke and Michael J. White. It's an action film. So I
Uh-huh.
play kind of this like sex trafficked woman who gets Stockholm syndrome and kind of gets looped into this world. And yeah, so that was kind of a dark character named Nancy. And then I also filmed this really fun YouTube show called Heroes with Issues. And it's about superheroes with issues seeing their therapist. And I play Catwoman in quarantine. So it's like Zoom session, and she's like losing it. I like jump on curtains, and I'm like drinking a bottle of vodka. And so that was really fun because it's a comedy, and we actually shot ourselves completely separate. So the timing thing was hard. I had to, in my mind, memorize the other characters' lines and then try to space out how long it was. It was hard. And then I also shot a TV show called Love in the Time of Quarantine, and that was on Pure Fix. And I'm a Zoom
Yes.
teacher, and so I shot it all as if I was like on Zoom. That I shot April 2020. And then coming out soon, right before the pandemic, I was shooting this show called Salvage Marines, which Sony Crackle has picked up. And it's like a post-apocalyptic futuristic show where, to save the universe, these salvage marines have to go out and fight. And it's everybody kind of, there's a draft, right? And it just picks from everyone. So I'm a salvage marine in that, and that should be coming out, they said, by the end of this year on Sony Crackle. So that, and I played Gretchen Voss. I think that is the coolest name ever.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in in the heat, in flight suits and metal armor, running through sand dunes with huge guns. I have like a Rambo moment, like crazy.
Action hero's dream.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we get like a season 2 or something, because I think they said I'm in every episode, but it's the character's supposed to get
Wow.
bigger coming up, I was told. But I don't know. Who knows? Life is crazy, you know. The pandemic, I kind of shifted everything for that, I think. So
Well,
yeah, so I've been
every actor wants to be a working actor, right? So you have so much. I can't believe you're playing an iconic character, Catwoman. You have a lot going on. This is amazing, Jessica.
Thank you. I feel really grateful and really blessed. And it's been I'm one of those stories where, I'm from Idaho, and I kind of like always wanted to act, and I started to fall into it by happenstance. And it was my opportunity. And someone said, "You're good. You should move to LA." And I literally packed up what I could fit in my car and was like, "I'm moving to LA." And my family was like, "What?" I knew like one person, kind of, sort of. So it's been like a really challenging journey of just persistence. And I was college educated. I was graduating honors in economics. You
Wow.
know what I mean? So I took a big turn and a big risk, but I love being on set so much. That's why I was saying you have to enjoy it, because we don't get to work every day, you know? So it's been a journey. But I'm super grateful for Incarnation. and for, you know, Isaac for choosing me, and for my cat, and the producer kind of was the one that suggested to Isaac, you should come meet Jessica. So I am blessed, you know.